Yes, thank you, Senator Allen. And I would like to thank the committee here as well as this panel and all the panels that have been displaying and sharing their stories today and displaying their work. It's very profound, and I'm very honored and humbled to be up here and being able to share now a part of the Creative Forces initiative that General Bivens spoke about in brief earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And so as far as my representation here, I'm here as a creative arts therapist. I'm a board-certified music therapist. I also have my master's in educational neuroscience to kind of bridge in that neuro element, what you were talking about, how you feel when you're drumming and making music and engaged, and to be able to look at the research side of that too, as well as the creative arts side. And so what creative arts therapists are and creative arts therapies are is pretty much everyone who came up here today, artists, dancers, theater, music, and creative writing. All of these have been touched upon today in some way, shape, or form. And so we're providers that do an approved or accredited education and degree, bachelor's, master's, or doctoral, in creative arts therapies. And this is using the arts as a vehicle and catalyst for reaching non-musical, non-artistic goals. So through Creative Forces, we are embedded in the clinic, and we definitely acknowledge the importance and the power of our community partners who have spoken today. In the clinic, as creative arts therapists, we work on functional rehabilitation, so motor, speech, as well as cognition, as well as mental health goals. This is a beautiful quote from a service member that I was very grateful and blessed to work with. And this is his wife actually saying, "It's truly a miracle without what Creative Forces has done for Luis, Captain Avila right there, who you'll see again in the presentation. We couldn't have in my family the quality of life we have. We don't even think we are disabled anymore. We can go anywhere. We don't see the disability. We see the possibility." And that, to me, not focus on the disability, but focus on the possibility. That's been a theme that really everyone has highlighted here today. Very important in the disciplines. So as creative arts therapists and creative forces, we're embedded, as the general said, on multiple military installations across the nation. These are mostly at the Intrepid Spirit Centers, which are funded by the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund. The most recent one, or the two actually, are on the West Coast at Camp Pendleton and at Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington, where we have a great art therapist there. And so really using the arts as a core part of the interdisciplinary team. Something Mrs. Miller today said about the arts aren't something nice, they're really an essential part. And so we really believe through this mission, and we see through the work we do, that the arts are a need to have rather than a nice to have. And so the way Creative Forces presents this mission is embedding us on bases as part of the interdisciplinary team. So we work alongside speech language pathologists, mental health professions, recreation therapists, occupational therapists to really provide the arts as a core of the treatment. Looking from a clinical perspective, we look at the arts as a biopsychosocial. When we do assessments, we look at the patient in these realms. And so Creative Forces has that also, the service member at the core, but really looking at the different ways and the different cultures and dynamics and the different levels that exist for the service member when they leave the clinic, and that's an importance of the community as well. Looking at our network, so as a Creative Forces representative and clinician, I do core clinical work. I'm in the clinic seeing patients every day. Also, I tie in with the community. So something we've developed at Camp Pendleton and also throughout many of the Intrepid Spirit Centers is something called the Creative Arts Cafe, where patients, where staff can come, and families can come, and people present artwork that they've created, music that they've written. They do drum interactives. They do relaxation and wellness. And every month we bring in someone from the community. That art is going to be highlighted next month, which is wonderful. We've had the library come in. We've had the Old Globe Theater come in. So we really provide that beginning stage of a warm handoff from the clinic to the community with the Creative Arts Cafe. So that power of performance. The capacity is more in line with our Digital Resource Center, some of our national initiatives, as well as the research that we produce. So a big part of what we're saying, the anecdotal evidence is strong. We need that research to be able to show, to get that buy-in, so people can really see. You can see a mask, but you can't really see a piece of music. So really have to be able to see the processes behind these products of the arts. These are also in the binders that were, the portfolios that were distributed. One that's really new that did not make it in there is the music therapy applied to complex blast injury, and that's a case report. The second author on that report is the patient, and that's Captain Luis Avila. So I'm just going to share two brief stories of the journey that I've had through creative arts therapies. This patient I worked with at the National Intrepid Center of Excellence at Walter Reed. When he first was injured, he couldn't speak. He was in a coma for 40 days. Again, you can read about his story on the open access link there. It's a great story. His wife is also very much a part of that paper, and his family. But he was in a coma. He couldn't speak. And through the amazing work of the interdisciplinary team at Walter Reed, he was able to emerge and rehabilitate. Music is such a big part of his rehabilitation. And I think just moving forward, he had performed not only at the Kennedy Center Millennial Stage up there. He's in the, it's a light? That's him right there, playing drums for this interactive dance movement and music, and his occupational therapist is right there. He also was able to perform alongside Renee Fleming and the National Symphony Orchestra at last year's Memorial Day Capitol concert. So going from not being able to speak to singing God Bless America on the Capitol lawn was pretty impressive. And I hope you, again, can find his article and read his story. It is open access. Every piece of research Creative Forces publishes is open access. One more recent, I wanted to kind of bridge the gap over to Camp Pendleton, where I work now. We were just honored to host the Second Lady for a visit a few weeks ago. And this young Marine had a sudden brain injury, and he actually was stationed at Quantico. And his first care was at Walter Reed, where he was able to start using music in his initial acute phases of recovery. What's really nice about this network, and this is a great story to show that, is he came home. He's from Baker, California, and he really wanted to get back home to his family. And so we were able to just do that handoff from Walter Reed, and he's been now working with me in music therapy as part of his rehabilitation, and he's able to be home. That's a really great homecoming story, I think, for him in his, not just in his fight and his battle, but in his rehabilitation and his recovery. I'd like to end with a quick writing that was done by one of our most recent teams of service members. And this is a compilation of their own writing, as well as some song lyrics they've extracted to put together. Thanos awoke to a new horizon and rising sun. At what cost does he achieve victory? Themes of sacrifice race through his mind, misunderstood by the hyenas nipping at his intent. I'm not even sure what I wanted at the moment, but should concentrate on what is best for myself and my family. This idea of a new future will have to be figured out soon. Or maybe it doesn't. Some of the most important and interesting people still don't. I'm still having difficulty blocking out thoughts, pending issues, and past combat-related events. Trying to turn away makes me think of them more and in detail. You're in hiding because you have to blame someone for your own confusion. Can you feel the resistance? Can you feel the thunder? I know you're out there in the twilight's last gleaming. This is open season. The meditation and music relieves my stress and pain, temporarily. I'm thinking of chores, projects, problems that I need to resolve, but music itself is an effective form of therapy. Singing seems to help a troubled soul. One of these days, it won't be long. I'll rejoin them in a song. I'm going to join the family circle at the throne. Thank you very much.
Yeah.